Are talking with Robert Ferringo from Doc Sports and SBR contributor Bob Harvey, previewing Week 5 in the NFL on the SBR TV Experts Roundtable for the NFL. We're going to move on to the last game, and this is a Monday night game, Chicago at Detroit. Robert, this is the game that you wanted to talk about, and this is another game that's interesting to me because I think I sense value on one side. Detroit is right now 5.5-point home favorite, which has actually come down a little bit, which is pretty surprising. Detroit has become a bit of a public darling team all of a sudden, but I think it's justified, it's warranted. They're 3-0-1 against the spread. Their last game against Dallas, which is a comeback win, is very, very impressive to me. The resilience really says a lot to me about what, a sort of like deep class that this team might have. Now, it's a big Monday night stage. They're less than touchdown favorite at home. I like them to cover. The Bears defense is looking shaky. What do you think, Robert Ferringo?
I actually think I like this a lot more before the line started moving the other way, indicating some heavy money coming in on Chicago. But
sure.
Yeah, this is one of those games that I kind of circled at the beginning of the year when the schedule came out. You know that Detroit is going to be ultra amped up for the first Monday Night Football game in 10 years. And I know we're a month into the season, so you can't really go back to the preseason, but anybody that watched that New England-Detroit preseason game, of all the preseason football that I've bet on and watched over the years, I've never really seen anything like that. They were treating that game like it was the Super Bowl and it was week 3 of the preseason. And just watching that Detroit team with that talent, the way they fed off the crowd and the way that they were just playing with reckless abandon, that really stuck out to me. Yeah. And I feel like that's what we're going to see on Monday Night Football. But beyond that, there's also a major matchup issue that works in Detroit's favor. And that's a Detroit defense. They don't blitz a lot, so they can protect their secondary. So it's one of those things where if they're getting pressure, if they're not getting pressure with their front four, they have a very beatable defense. But if they're getting pressure with an amazing front four, then they're going to cause teams a lot of problems. But what does that play into? It plays into the Bears' just enormous Achilles heel here, basically, and that's their terrible offensive line. So I think Detroit's defensive line is going to be able to generate pressure all night. They're going to force the issue. They're going to force Jay Cutler into turnovers, and all that's going to do is amp up the crowd that much more, amp up the offense that much more. I feel like Detroit has some weapons, even beyond Calvin Johnson. I feel like they have some weapons to exploit the Bears defensively. The Bears are in the top tier of the NFL right now in total defense, and they're not stopping the run as well as they were last year. So just everything about this game kind of points to Detroit.
Yeah, I agree with you, and you said when we started that you were a bit concerned about the line movement. It's still early in the week. I'm not that concerned about the line movement at all, and even if it goes down to 5, I'm liking Detroit a lot, and I also think that the Bears look shaky on defense. I'm kind of leaning towards the Lions team total over, which should be about 27. I agree with you. I think they're going to be amped up and looking to have a big statement win. Bob Harvey, what do you make of this line?
I agree right across the board with Robert, everything he said about Detroit, and I think the line, I'd be happy, obviously, with it a little bit lower, but I still think they're going to cover it. Touchdown, 10-point, maybe even a 2-touchdown victory on Monday night. The way Robert feels about Marvin Lewis, that's how I feel about Lovie Smith. I don't know how he's stuck around this long. I guess getting to the Super Bowl 3 years ago got him a little bit of a job security. But as Robert pointed out, this offensive line is terrible. And Jay Cutler's going to spend most of the night, I'm sorry to say, Bears fans, on his rear end. And I just like Detroit a lot in this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. It looks like we have some consensus on this one. We'll see where the line moves. That's our NFL Week 5 preview here on the SBR TV NFL Experts Roundtable. Thanks so much to Robert Ferringo from Doc Sports and SBR contributor Bob Harvey. Thanks, guys.